Good morning, everyone. Just to continue on from the account management angle, we've talked about the general questions to ask. We've talked about ways to uncover whether an opportunity or an account is in growth, and then, how to start to realise that growth. The other strategy, though, is a protection and fortification strategy, because not all accounts are going to increase spend. And in particular, this year is one of those years where people might be maxed out at what they're currently spending. And that doesn't mean that we treat them any differently, we underserve them, nor should we overserve them. It's really about matching the level of service to the strategy that we've assigned to a particular account based on the insight that we've built. So I'm just going to share with you three key considerations around what I would recommend you do at a high level to protect and fortify those accounts that you really want to make sure that they continue to spend the levels that they have in previous years, and that you kind of cordon them off so that they're not at risk of reducing that spend, nor are they at risk from competitors. And it's going to be an increasingly competitive market going forward. So the first item of the three is to build competitor insight. So with those accounts that you've either maxed out at, or they're just going to continue the level of spend, there's no more growth this year to get, it's really important that you understand who else they're talking to, and also who else might be in the ether circling, that you might not even currently know about. So it's really important that you understand that. It's important that you build insight around what they do better than you, and determine some strategies and tactics to be able to mitigate that, not only to speak to it, but also to behave in a way that counters that. Forewarned is forearmed, as they say. So always better to know well in advance and have a strategy around that, should that ever come about. And also understanding what you do currently or could do better than them, and how you can actually strengthen that. That's going to be really important. That's perhaps a very proactive way to dealing with competitors. So that's the first point, build competitor insight. The second point is, what would possibly stop or reduce the current spend level for your account or your customer? And there are some strategies that you can put in place. One that's commonly used is a lock-in of price for a particular time period, as long as there's a commitment to that time period. So you can explore what that might look like. And that means that they've got certainty over their spend with you for, a certain time period. And it also gives you certainty as well around the continuity of the relationship. So that helps. And also have a look at service level agreements. What else can you do that adds value or delivers more value, and it must be measurable, for the customer at little or minimal cost to your organisation. So thinking about things like, frequency and type of contact, inviting them to events, bringing them in so that there's a sense of belonging, not just to you personally, and not just to the obvious people or counterparts in your organisation with their organisation, but across the organisation. Is there an opportunity to introduce them to other key people in your organisation in a way that is going to be beneficial for them? So think about those sorts of opportunities to add measurable additional value without, being at cost to you or to your organisation, or minimal. And the third area, so we've talked about build competitor insight, what could possibly stop or reduce their spend, and then put strategies in place. And then the third area is to scaffold your company insight with that customer across key relationships in that organisation. big mistake that a lot of salespeople make, account managers make, is that they just have a one-to-one relationship, and they fail to understand that they need to be across where the company is going in the next sort of 6 to 12 months, 24 months, in order to be proactive around their service value, service offer, service delivery, innovation, the things that are going to make the most difference to the company, that company, customer, organization, as it moves forward. And when you're a partner in their growth, because you're able to deliver service regardless, not just for where they are today, but where they're going, then you're able to make yourself relevant and valuable for the foreseeable future. So to do that, you need to round out your insight across and through the organization. So there needs to be key relationships, not necessarily as deep as your key decision maker relationships, but there needs to be a relationship at C-level or at executive level, at an operational level, and at a finance level as well. So if you currently don't have those relationships and you think, oh, I don't need that. I know who signs off on my proposals, or, however you work with that organization. Well, you're really, really fooling yourself, and it's incredibly naive, and I would argue it's dangerous in a challenging market that we're in at the moment and will continue to be. The other one is you need to have a relationship, if you don't already, at a general management level. So either with the GM or across, again, similar types of roles, operations and finance as well, regardless of whether you think that those people necessarily need to know about your product or service on a day-to-day basis. You need to have the insight about what matters to them in the future direction, the things that are being planned today, what matters to them, who else they're working with, what they like about them, what they're working on, what innovation they have in store, how they're using technology, so that you can always be in alignment. And then obviously decision maker and user level. So often we leave out the people that are going to be using our product or service, and we fail to really get under the covers in terms of understanding what is going to make a user experience better for them, and what isn't, what's going to kind of damage that user experience. And sometimes it's easier said than done. So that's another way that you can round out your insight. The other and final area for this one, scaffolding your company insight across key relationships, is to identify blockers in the organization. I might have mentioned that before, but it's critical when it comes to a protection and fortification strategy. If you don't know who in the organization is against you, then you can't do anything about it. You're going to be reactive, and you're going to find out after you don't either win a renewal, or when you're not able to grow, or when you lose that company. And that's way too late. You need to identify them sooner rather than later. And that comes down to the strength of your relationships across and through the organization. So you can identify those people in advance. You can determine their level of influence over the key people around, your corporate relationship, your commercial relationship. And then you can start to determine what you're going to do about that. You could even, if you think that person is blocking you for reasons that perhaps they don't know the value that you deliver, then maybe that's an area. But sometimes it's because they've got a relationship with a competitor of yours, and they'd prefer to bring those people in because that reflects well on them. Or they might have an issue with your organization. There might be some history there. Anyway, regardless, you need to know about it. You need to take proactive action, and you need to set yourself up so that you're on the front foot rather than in a reactive position. So I hope that that's helped. Please let me know what your competitive protection and fortification strategies are, beyond just relationship. We understand that it's relationship, but we need to also be strategic about the way that we have relationships with our key accounts and the customers that really deserve us to be that step better for them and also for us. Have a great rest of the week, guys.